Welcome to the Book Talk Babes podcast, where we will be discussing different book-related topics and occasionally specific books. This episode will contain explicit language and may contain spoilers, so please check the episode description for a list of books that were spoiled. My name is Ashley, and today I'm joined by my two lovely friends, Elaine.
Hello.
And Liana.
Howdy.
Today's topic is gonna be Queen Charlotte, a Bridgerton story.
Yay!
Yay.
Now, y'all are probably gonna have to carry this one for sure, because I feel like it's been a while since it hasn't been that long, but I binge watched it so quick that
Yeah.
I feel like I don't remember everything.
Yeah. I'm excited. I loved Queen Charlotte.
I'm sorry, I know this was both of y'all's favorite, right?
Yeah, I loved Charlotte too.
I don't know if I could compare it to the rest to Bridgerton, because it's set apart. But side note, I need to get some cool background. Y'all have such cool backgrounds.
Well, what's funny about my background is obviously I'm sitting at my desk, so all of my shit's on my desk or on the walls around my desk, so everything back there is Stevens. So the Tottenham flag, the Star Wars stuff. I guess technically the Witcher print is both of ours, but
for different reasons.
Yeah. Well, so we've got this one that's black and silver, or I think it's black and silver. Yeah, black and silver. And then I have one that's black and gold. I just don't have it hung up yet.
You just gotta ignore the sides. That there's a mess there. I have a mess over here.
Well, you cover most of it, so I'm just seeing the bookshelves.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
good.
I guess in the squares that we have, you see a very limited amount.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's all recording us on wide screens.
Yeah.
But I need something back here.
Yeah, I think I had shifted myself because I think I saw and I was like, oh man, you can see my messy desk. So
if it makes you feel any better, I can't tell that it's a messy desk.
I cleaned it a little bit,
something
but it's still.
So that it looks the Vita
picture
pen.
frame.
And she has the crown back here.
Oh.
I need to make it look like that. Yeah. So how was everyone's July 4th holiday? Did we celebrate? Did we sleep in? What did we do?
I got donuts.
Yeah, I went and saw my dad at work.
You had donuts?
I got donuts. I asked my mom, I was like, you want to go get donuts in the morning? And she was like, but it's not your birthday. Because I always get donuts for my birthday. And I was like, but it's 4th of July.
But it's not your birthday.
It's something to celebrate.
She's like, oh.
No donuts for you, Elaine.
It's America's birthday.
There we go.
We got donuts.
Yeah, I went and saw my dad at work because he was making brisket. And I had to give him his Father's Day gifts because he was sick for Father's Day.
Oh.
Got him some wildly inappropriate tumbler and coffee mug.
Are they still rolling around on their motorcycles?
Yep, they sure are.
I love it.
As long as I don't have to drive anywhere near them, I'm fine. Watching other cars around them just makes me feel sick to my stomach.
God, I visited my parents last weekend and I was cooking for them and my mom was chopping some things and just watching her handle a knife.
Oh.
Made me so nervous.
Oh.
She and my sister are very similar, very, very similar. And they both handle knives the exact same way. And I told her, whenever you and Issa handle knives, I just I feel anxious. And then at one point I was like, no, I'll cut that for you.
That's funny.
was terrifying, but we survived.
I understand.
They're just so chaotic.
Yeah, we got my dad for Father's Day. The Tumblr just says, we used to live in your balls, I think. And then it's got two little sperm with our names, and then the coffee cup says we used to live in your balls and happy Father's Day, and then on the back it says thanks for not pulling out, you're awesome.
Oh my god.
He's just like, what in the world? I'm like, don't even. We are the way we are because of you. You know you love those cups. Don't even. Someone he works with was there when we gave it to him, and my dad's like, look what they got me. And then I was like, have you met this man? Of course we got him these.
Oh my god.
So if anyone wanted a glimpse into my family dynamic.
Don't pretend to be offended. This is hilarious.
Oh, I'm not offended.
No, not you, him.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. He was just like, he was acting like, oh my God, I can't believe y'all would do this. I'm like, don't. You've literally said those words to me before.
Like,
in
girl,
real
please.
life. You have told me you used to live in my balls. So don't even. That was my extra day off. Which I guess.
Speaking of Morning Glory Milking Bar.
I guess by the time this episode comes out, though, it'll be well after 4th of July. But what did you do, Liana?
I just went to the pool and chilled.
Ooh, that's nice.
And I was bragging because I'm like, I don't get sunburned.
Oh.
But looking at myself now, I'm like this reddish brown color. And, been feeling kind of itchy.
Yep.
And so now I'm like, maybe I did.
Maybe got a little bit of sunburn, but lucky for you, it should turn into a tan pretty quick.
Yeah, it's reddish brown.
Yeah.
It's not red.
That's how my mom's. That's how my mom's sunburns are.
Yeah. So my Mexicanness is holding on. Yeah. It's okay though. It took a bit to cure, I guess. But we're doing great.
Good. I just sunburned really bad.
Well, I don't know. I feel like I haven't been out in the sun for so long that I wonder if like I would burn.
You might the first time.
Yeah.
You just need a base sunburn and then it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What Liana said. Unfortunately, I mean, I used to tan when I was younger, but I go straight to sunburned.
Those band camp tans.
Oh God. Oh, those were bad. Yeah, I think I have a picture on my phone of one of my band pictures, like of us, like when they did the professional ones where we're in our like actual uniform. But they did. I feel like they did that like while we were doing band camp. So like all of us are like, my hair looked super frizzy. So I'm like, I was probably fucking outside all morning. And then they're like, all right, pictures.
Yeah.
Those fortune cookie uniforms. They look like fortune cookies.
Damn hats with the plumes.
Brown and black are not great colors to put together. Or was it like a beige and black? Something like that.
It was like a light brown and black with a gold sequins when I was in band. I think the uniform switched after I left.
Okay.
Yeah, like literally the next year after we graduated, they got new uniforms.
Oh, okay. So they kept the
it was like
ones.
white.
Yeah, they did white.
Yeah.
Which I find it very interesting. Like all of us, like, drill team and band and the cheerleaders, we all had like brown uniforms because Crockett's colors are brown and gold. Those are the colors. And then since we've left, they've incorporated way more white, more black, and what like their graduation robes were either gold or white
Yeah.
this past year. And I'm like, excuse me, I have shit brown.
Yeah.
Okay. The colors of the school are brown and gold. What is this nonsense?
No. See, I got lucky. Ours were purple.
Yeah. Y'all had good ones. Y'all had good ones.
We had a good color. Well, because they took like the literal colors of the cougar, and like that's not cute on anybody,
right? Yeah. No, we got brown and gold. But
it was like we were the Jaguars, but like we still like did like black and purple.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's great for the newer generations that go through that school. But at the same time, I'm in that mindset of like, no. I had to suffer.
Yeah.
What is it? People say like you wouldn't last an hour in the asylum where they raised me.
Yeah, that's the Taylor Swift lyrics. You having to deal with the ugliest school colors
Speaking
for 4
of
years.
Asylums.
Oh, that was good.
Sorry, I heard the segue. I had to do it.
You had to do it. No, it was good. It was good. Yeah, speaking of asylum.
Queen Charlotte and George.
I will say I was not expecting and I was not prepared for the multiple jumps between like young Queen Charlotte and like Bridgerton time Queen Charlotte as we knew her. I was not expecting there to be that many time jumps throughout the season. I thought it was all just going to be young Queen Charlotte and George and Danbury.
Expect to see that either. I liked it though.
Yeah, no, I didn't mind it. I mean, I have my issues with older Queen Charlotte, but as a character, actress is wonderful.
Love her.
She does a great job of making me want to slap older Queen Charlotte in the face.
So, in the off chance that our listeners have not watched Queen Charlotte, which I don't know if that's possible,
yeah,
should we do a brief like this is what it is?
Sure, go ahead.
So Queen Charlotte is a character in the Bridgerton series. I don't think she's in the book.
No, I heard she is not in the book.
Yeah, I don't remember her being in the books. And in the Bridgerton series, her main storyline is trying to unmask who Lady Whistledown is. And you know, she's fabulous. She has great wigs and dresses, and she is married to King George, who is the reigning monarch of that time period. But of course, King George is completely indisposed and has succumbed to his mental illness. Beyond these tiny scenes, I think in the first season, when she's trying to marry the prince and Daphne, we see her talk to George for a little bit when he's eating dinner, and then he forgets that his kids have died, or a kid of his has died, and then he's like, "Who are you?" And so we have like a sad moment. And then it's when he bursts in on Anthony and Edwina's wedding.
Oh, yeah.
And he's having a moment, and Charlotte is frozen because no one's really supposed to know that he has this condition.
Yeah.
But Edwina, precious, sweet, adorable Edwina.
I know.
Like, is so like charming and just like talks him down. And she's like, "Isn't your queen beautiful? She's going to get ready to marry you." And you know, all this stuff. This Bridgerton story is it splits between the past and present day Bridgerton, where Queen Charlotte and George are getting married. It's an arranged marriage. And then present day Charlotte is trying to secure an heir to the monarchy.
Yeah.
And so that's what's going on. Oh, side story. Lady Danbury is there too.
Yes. Yes. She was a bigger part of it than I was expecting.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because Lady Danbury is married to Lord Danbury, who's like this really gross old man.
Yeah, that
And
one's
she
also she hates it. That was also an arranged marriage. I think she at one point mentions that she was basically promised to him when she was like 2.
Yeah.
And stuff. So her dad basically had her raised up to be a perfect wife for Danbury, Lord Danbury.
And there's some there's a subplot a racial subplot going on.
Yes.
Because I think Lord Danbury is one of the first generations of people of color in England to receive titles.
Yes.
I think they're calling it like the Great Experiment or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you find out they're from some other like country, like a royal bloodline of some other country.
I want to say it was Senegal.
Okay. It was something with an I wanted to say it was Sierra Leone.
Or one of those.
Something with an S sounding name.
Yeah, basically all of the black aristocracy, I think they all come from like directly from areas of Africa and African royalty or African nobility.
Yes.
And so they've been given these titles in England and this land in England, and they're some of the first generation to receive it.
Well, what I found interesting was like he has the title of Lord Danbury, but it isn't until like Queen Charlotte's wedding that they all kind of get like, I don't know, a promotion in standing or
Sierra
whatever.
Leone.
It is Sierra Leone. Okay.
Sorry, I just looked it up. Yeah, Sierra Leone.
If I remember one thing, apparently it's that. But yeah, I thought it was very interesting how they all have these titles and whatnot, but they don't get treated very equally until it comes time for Queen Charlotte's wedding, and they're like, oh wait, we need to fill her side of the church.
Yeah, because Queen Charlotte is a black woman
from Germany.
Yeah.
Yes. Is it implied that she's biracial?
Maybe. Wasn't she in real life?
Because unlike Lady Danbury, she's not from Africa. She's from Germany.
Yeah, but we only ever meet her brother. Like her parents aren't in the picture, so
yeah,
I'm not 100% sure.
Let's see. Is Queen Charlotte biracial?
I just know that what was it? The King George's mom says like oh God, some of the stuff that is said in this show, I'm just like, oh, I don't ever want to repeat that. Where she was like, I couldn't tell like how dark her skin was based off of the drawing thing, and I'm like, oh, what? No, don't say that. Don't say that. Or when Queen Charlotte is like sitting for her portrait with King George after they've been married.
Yeah.
And she's like, Queen Charlotte's looking at it. She's like, you need to make my skin darker. And then the princess, whatever. No. Make it lighter. Make her glowing. And I'm like,
it's George's mom, right?
Yeah, it's George's his mom. I'm like, oh, no, stop.
Yeah.
Good God. Do you hear the words that are coming out of your mouth?
No.
Well, the British.
And the times.
So first episode, Charlotte is being brought to England from Germany with her brother to marry George. And she tries to run away from their wedding.
Yes.
And then cutie patootie George just like, excuse me, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm trying to climb over the wall.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to climb this tree over the wall.
In her wedding gown, right?
Yes.
I just love their first meeting. Like, Especially when we find out later when he's like, I fell in love with you instantly.
Yeah.
Like,
I just
this woman who's trying to like run away from me.
It's great that like he can obviously like figure he's like, oh, okay, this is the woman I'm supposed to be marrying, and then she's just like, I know nothing about this man, but oh shit, we lost Elaine.
No.
Fuck. Welcome back.
Elaine.
I was like, oh shit, we lost her. Okay, what was the last thing you heard?
Maybe I should start writing these down because I forget.
Okay, that's okay. Liana was we went back to the beginning where Queen Charlotte and George meet for the
you were talking about
first time.
how she wanted to escape.
Mm-hmm.
Which is so cute. He's like, who are you talking about? And she's like, that's impertinent. None of your business. And she's like, he must be a beast or a troll because they won't let me see him.
No one will tell me anything about him. He's like, well, what do you want to know?
He's like, I'm not a beast or a troll. I'm just George. I'm like,
oh, just George.
It made me really sad though after the wedding.
Why?
Like when they get to, I guess, her house or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's like, wait a second, like, where are you going? He goes, you're going to stay here and I'm going to go to my house. And then she's like, what? And he's like, I'm the king. I have decided. Well, she goes, I'm sorry. Forgive me, Your Majesty. I thought you were just George. And then like curtsies and walks out. And I was just like, we're not starting off on a good foot.
Well, because he was so cute and charming.
He was. And then she went and changed her. I love that she changed her dress.
Yes. They wanted her to wear a more English style. And she's like, fuck that. I'm German.
Yeah.
I'm going to wear a German style.
She went and changed her dress. Because when she got there, she's like, oh, I already have a wedding dress. And his mom's like, no, you're going to wear what we want you to wear.
Yeah. She's like, you're English now. And Charlotte's like, what? Excuse me?
She's like, I have a, what was it? Like a French made dress with, lace handmade by nuns or something.
Yeah. By like blind nuns or something.
Which, have you ever seen lace be handmade?
It is wild. So meticulous. I would not be able to do that.
Have you seen the video? There's been a video I see every now and then of this like old lady sitting at a table with the little things. And I'm like, how are you even keeping track of which ones you are moving where? You're moving them so fast. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, the little tiny spools.
Holy crap.
I think my sister would be really good at making lace because she has tiny hands and she's really good at like crafting things. I mean, his mom is just cunty, like, and not in a good way.
Yeah.
Like, I get it, but like, can you not be so rude?
Yeah. If I remember correctly, I feel like I heard somewhere she is the same actress that plays the Stark's mother in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I didn't recognize her.
Stark.
Did not recognize her at all.
Oh, really?
Someone said that.
I was like, a lot of stuff. I think she was in Harry Potter too.
Oh, was she? Jesus.
Let me
see.
Hermione's mom, right?
Oh, is she?
I'm looking it up. Let's see. She's like British actor royalty, I think. Oh, she's Princess Augusta. That's her character.
Yeah.
Queen Charlotte. Yeah. Game of Thrones.
Yeah, she plays Mrs. Granger.
So she had a very small part.
I did not realize.
Yeah, I mean, if I were Charlotte, I would be disappointed too, because like you're also supposed to have a wedding night.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we're just not, which I guess brings in Lady Danbury.
Yes,
because
that is true.
George's mom says to Danbury, you have to get them to fuck.
Yeah, basically, like she's like, basically you're gonna be my eyes and ears, like.
Yeah.
I
forgot. She gives her some kind of ultimatum, right? I forgot what it is. Doesn't she?
Oh, because I think Mr. Lord Danbury passes away and she's not sure if she's going to keep the title of Lady Danbury.
We don't know about the line of succession yet because it hasn't been done. Okay.
And that her son's going to get, to be the Lord.
And before that, Lady Danbury basically tells the, what was it? Princess what?
Augusta.
Princess Augusta that, like, I'll help you if you help me. Like, me and Lord Danbury live in this tiny wooden house, like, outside of the town. Like, give us an estate inside the city.
Okay.
So the Princess Augusta gives her and Lord Danbury like the big ass fucking house that Lady Danbury has in the Bridgerton series. That was the
I'm glad I
first.
have y'all.
That was the first thing, and then later after her husband dies, she's like, you need to.
Oh yeah, because her idiot husband is like, look at all I've accomplished, like not knowing like Lady Danbury is the one who's doing the maneuvering and manipulating.
Yes,
he's like, they finally recognize like how valuable I am.
Yes, they finally recognize how wonderful I am. She's just like, okay.
Side note, have you seen the actor that played Lord Danbury without his makeup? He is a very handsome man.
Oh no, I haven't.
No,
he is handsome.
Okay, now we're gonna look. Hold on. Oh, hello.
What? Easy.
How in the actual hell? Holy shit!
I know.
Alrighty then. This furthers what I said when we talked about Bridgerton 3. Like, the makeup, the set design, the costumes for this show are so fucking good.
Yes, he is such a handsome man. What's his name? Cyril Nri?
I didn't look at his name.
But yeah, he is a very handsome man.
Yep.
And they made him look horrible.
They did. Every time they like slept together and she's just like laying there.
Yeah.
And I was just
she takes a bath right after.
Well, like the first time, one of the first times like that happens and she like gets into the bath and whatever. And she's like, if he puts one of his giant babies in me again.
Well, she ends up having 4 kids.
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't have more. Well, I'm not surprised. The baths probably helped.
Yeah. What is her maid/friend's name?
Coral. Okay, I was like, I legitimately don't even remember what they say.
Coral. Her name is Coral.
Yes.
She was so cute.
Yes.
But I love that she was... What happened to her? Why don't we see her in the current day Bridgerton?
We don't.
We see Brimsley.
Yeah.
And then the Pompadour guy. I'm so bad with names.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I have the cast pulled up here. Reynolds. That's his name. Reynolds, who is George's Brimsley.
Oh, Reynolds.
Well, we don't see him in present day.
No,
Bridgerton.
we don't see him either.
Because that was my complaint that I mentioned last time, was like, we don't know what happened to Brimsley's relationship. Like, it never is explained, and I need it explained.
I forgot how... So I know that Lady Danbury starts to... Because I know that... Okay, backing up.
Yes.
Charlotte and George are not getting along.
Yes.
And they don't see each other, and Charlotte's just pissed and bored and is not used to being queen, and she thinks it's ridiculous that people are like picking oranges for her. And she's like, I can pick my own orange? And they're like, no, you don't do that now. And then Brimsley's following her around everywhere, and she's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm your attendant. And she's like, well, stop. And he's like, no. Like she's like, get away from me.
Yep.
And I think she tries to visit George a couple times and she's turned away. But the reason, we find out the reason George is like such a recluse is because he does have this mental illness. And it's never really said what it is. And I think there's still some speculation from the actual history books, like what it was.
Yes.
Some people suspect bipolar or schizophrenia.
I could see that.
I think more along schizophrenia.
I remember
delusions.
Yeah, I looked it up at one point because I was like, what exactly was wrong with him? Like, what did he have going on? And then like the treatments that he was like putting
Oh, I
himself
know.
through
I
were
know.
so freaking horrible.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not gonna make things better.
No.
You're just
doesn't he
a doctor on a power trip.
Mm-hmm.
doesn't he start doing them so he can start to see Charlotte more? And then
Yeah.
something happens. He has an episode or something.
So he starts him because he's like, I want to be able to see her. And then his caretaker guy, Reynolds, like stops them in the middle of one of their little torture sessions.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's when he goes, or he was like, oh, we'll send the, good faith gesture, whatever, sends her the dog. It's a mutated bunny.
Yeah, she hates it.
She hates it.
But in present day, she is always seen with a little
she
dog.
has like a whole bunch of Pomeranians now.
Yeah.
But he eventually like goes and sees her, and then he starts to have an episode again, or starts an episode again, and then he starts up the treatments again.
He stops the treatments because it's going so well being with her.
Yeah.
And so he thinks like, I'm cured. But then doesn't it like doesn't he try to go address Parliament? And he has that breakdown in the carriage.
So before that, he has a fight with his mom.
Oh.
And, he's like yelling at his mom, like, I did this the way you wanted. I did this and I did that. And I've bedded her and blah, blah, blah. And then his mom leaves. And then he's like, okay, get the doctor. Because he starts to panic.
Yeah. His mom is the one who is kind of telling him like, you can't be king because you're the way you are.
Yeah.
And she keeps trying to like hide his condition from Charlotte.
Yes.
And she's the one at some point Charlotte dismisses the doctor and his mom gets upset that she dismissed the doctor.
Yeah.
So his mom is not really on his side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think his mom is struggling with the fact that like, oh, like I've had all this power basically, and then he got married, and now technically Charlotte has this power because she goes to see him after she thought that they were having a good time, and she's been writing him letters and all that kind of stuff, and he's been doing the treatment stuff, so he hasn't been reading them. So she shows up at his house and sees them in the act of doing all this shit, and she's like, get this fucking doctor out of here. Like he doesn't need all this. And it's after that where
Poor George,
I know, his mom and them are like, okay, you need to address Parliament, like you have to like show your face out in public. And then he gets in the carriage and then has a full meltdown when they get to Parliament and can't get out of the carriage.
I know. Well, God, like, first of all, I just the torture that they put poor George through. Like they were like dehydrating him. They were putting like hot pokers on his legs.
Yeah.
Like
shocking him, dunking his head in water.
Yeah. They were completely abusing him.
Yeah.
And that is the King of England.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, they had the animals caged in there too, which is how Charlotte got the dog.
Yeah, him and Reynolds steal the dog.
Yeah. And then we learn like about his Farmer George persona. And I think it's in their first meeting, he tells Charlotte he likes to farm. Like he's interested in agriculture.
Yes.
And he really likes to do that. And so that's the way she like calls him back. We find out later.
Yeah.
She calls him Farmer George. But I know that how do they start like liking each other? Because they're having even days.
Yes. So
but they don't really like each other yet.
Yeah, he gets her or she gets him to move in or whatever. He agrees to move in, and then they're like, okay, well, we got to produce an heir, and like Dan Barry has already been over there and shown her the drawings of what to expect.
Yes, all the drawings,
which I thought was like,
I think they've already done it. They've already done it at least once.
Yeah,
and then they get into, I think, an argument to where the point where now it's just like, okay, well, we got to do even days.
We're just gonna do even days.
Even days.
And like,
there's a whole montage.
It's an even day. It's such a like almost like enemies to lovers in a way, because like they just like they don't want to be around each other, but like, all right, we got to do this, and like obviously they're having a good time.
there's just like there's like the scene where he's in the bath and she's trying to like undo her nightgown and he's like, just get in. And then there's a scene where they're like, it's an even day, but they're having dinner, and then they just like start getting ready to like go at it at the dinner table, and everyone has to run out.
Reynolds and Brimsley's like, okay, everyone's like looking at each other wide-eyed, like, what do we stay? Like, what is happening?
They're like, no, everybody out.
Like, everyone get out.
Everybody out.
Let's
go. But I forget how they start to like each other.
I feel like
doesn't he have an episode where he's like,
he runs outside.
He runs outside, and that's when she
realizes. Before that, though, because they usually don't sleep in each other's bed. Mm-mm. And they were sleeping in the same bed, and that's when she woke up and he was writing on the wall or whatever. So I don't know what happened before that.
He runs outside to to say hi to Venus or something.
Yeah.
I had some
because how do Charlotte and George fall
I had some weird issues with that whole scene, just from like a continuity standpoint. So like he goes outside, he's in his nightshirt, he takes it off, and he's standing in the dirt there in his little farming thing, talking to Venus, and she's like, I'm your Venus, blah blah blah. They bring out a lantern. Like Reynolds has a lantern when he goes out there, and like a blanket. So they wrap him up in the blanket, and they leave his nightshirt out there. They leave the lamp out there. They all just walk in without all that. And I'm like, okay. And then they're like bathing him. And I'm like, all he did was stand there. How did he get dirt all over his upper body? I'm very confused.
Well, I think he like rolled around in the garden.
Did he? I only remember him going out there, taking his night thing off and standing up. I didn't see him get in the dirt at all. So when they're like washing him off, I was like, did I miss something? Like, how did he get dirt all over his like face? And I'd have to rewatch it, but that's what I remember happening. And I'm just like, huh? Seems interesting.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that is a turning point for sure, because they realize, Charlotte, I think, realizes her responsibility is more than just as a baby maker. Like, she does care for him, and I think it's also a good thing for Reynolds, because now he doesn't have to do this alone. So I think we see some relief from Reynolds when she helps to bring George back in.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's basically been like a solo caretaker for the king. I guess the last,
and he's even against all the medical torture. But I mean, what can he do? He's He's like, my duty is to the king and to take care of the king, and like, this is not taking care of him. But they're like, you don't know anything, and so he just has to stand outside the door and hear George like scream,
being tortured
every day from this brutality, and you can see it like really wears at him.
I honestly didn't feel like any of the treatment stuff like really helped either.
No, like, it was just what was that?
The fact that the doctor was just like, well, it's going great. I'm like, is it?
It's experimental.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh, they didn't know how to treat that back then.
No, they didn't. They didn't.
He was just he was just fucking around, honestly.
Yeah. And I mean, and also in like, I think in real life times, he didn't start to really show any sort of signs of anything wrong until he was older. Like the age that he's being portrayed in the show, like he was, I think, able to fully function as a leader or whatever until much later in his actual life. But this show was so sad.
No, but it was
It
so
was good, but it's so sad.
So sad.
I mean, you know, we have to talk about that part when, because gosh, he has another episode. Charlotte, I think, is it when he has the breakdown in the carriage and Charlotte, like, what the hell happened? Isn't she pregnant by that time?
I believe so.
Okay. And then he withdraws again and he goes to his observatory and she hasn't seen him. But by this time, they've like really built up their relationship. And she's just straight up pissed because he's like banned her from his life. And she's like, yeah, that whole scene where it's like, do you love me?
Yeah. Well, she like shows up and he's like, I don't want to fight with you. She's like, I want to fight with you.
Yes. He's like, well, I do.
Like, we're going to fight. And then, yeah, she's like, do you love me?
Yeah. And he's like, you know, yelling at her, get out. And then he's like, get out. And she's like, no, I will not
get out.
And of course, she's like, I will stand with you between the heavens and the earth. I will tell you where you are. Do you love me?
Yeah. No.
He's trying to give her like all these reasons why he's not good enough, why he's not worthy. And he's like, I'm a madman. Like, you know, like the heavens and the earth collide. And I'm not for you. And she's like, I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, I don't care. I'm your wife. I'm here for you. You know, I will be your heading. I'll be whatever. And she's like, I love you.
Yeah.
Do you love me? And if you don't, just, you know, final word, I will never see you again. And then, you know, he's like, I love you. And she's like,
So good.
Yes.
It is good. It is good.
It makes me think of like the, you know, it has, you know, when Simon tells Daphne that he burns for her. And then when Anthony is telling Kate that she is the bane of his existence. Yep. And so like we get that scene. He's like, you know, my heart calls your name. And I was just like,
yep. Yep.
Yes.
I was like, you guys. So good. Well, and then, you know, she does rescue George from his torture. And she's arguing with the doctor. And she's like, I don't care for his sanity. I care for his happiness.
Yeah.
Which I think, like, you know, really showed like how much she loved him and how much, and, you know, she was choosing him and thinking of what's best for him.
Yeah.
And everyone's trying to tell her, like, you know, he's a madman. And she's like, if madness is what he needs, so what?
Yeah.
She's like, you know, maybe he needs it. I don't care. I just know that he can't live like this.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's also interesting how, like, King George's mother, I don't think expected Queen Charlotte to be as, like, strong-willed as she is and whatnot.
Yeah.
I think
and she was like,
I think they
in history she was 17.
Yeah. And I think they intentionally tried to pick her because they thought that it would be somebody that was more, you know, malleable and would do what they wanted and said and things like that. I think they were hoping she was young enough that it wouldn't matter. And I like how, like, to backtrack a little bit, I don't remember at what point, but like her brother's like, I let you read too many books.
Yeah.
He's like, it's my fault for indulging you in this behavior of, you know, independence that you have.
It's not right for a woman to read.
Right. You read too much. We do need to talk a little bit about the side story with Danbury again.
Yes.
Because
yes, we do.
Her husband done dies in the middle of going after it.
Oh my God.
I just like, so you get, for anyone that hasn't seen the show, you just get like basically her face and movement. And she's just like,
he falls off the bed.
He stopped moving and she's like, are you done already?
Done?
And then, you hear like the thump and she like turns around. He's fallen off the bed and she's like, oh no. And she like gets her maid. And she's like, it's happening. I'm going to go back in and I'm going to scream. And then you're going to raise the alarm for the, they have it all like planned out.
Yes.
Oh no, my husband is dead. What will I do?
What a shame. And then
I'm so distraught.
I thought it was very it wasn't until this show that I realized the age gap between Danbury and Violet. Because Violet is at this point, like, Danbury is married, has 4 kids, like, and Violet hasn't even come out yet in society. Like,
I think she's a good like 10, 15 years older than Violet.
And I didn't realize there was
but
that.
Lady Danbury was still,
she was still very young. Yeah.
Like, she must have been in like her mid-20s. I would say,
definitely.
I think she's at least 10 years older than Violet.
That makes sense.
She looked like Hyacinth a little bit.
She did, yes.
It was so cute. Yes. She looked like Hyacinth.
She was so adorable and innocent. And I do like how encouraging her father was, though. Like, anytime she says something and he's like, you're so smart, like, blah, blah, blah. And her mom's like, you stop doing that. And he's like, leave her alone. Like, she's fine.
Like, you're so smart. You're so beautiful. You're so kind. Yeah. I'm like, oh, we love words of affirmation.
He was a good dad. He was a good dad.
Yes.
And then, there was the whole Lady Danbury's in mourning and goes for a walk along her property and then runs into Violet's dad. And they form a friendship that becomes a one afternoon stand.
it flourishes.
Yeah. Well, he comes over for her birthday because he made her a little birthday hat, which I found, like, again, because I watched Bridgerton season 3 before I finished Queen Charlotte.
Oh.
I didn't understand the significance of the hat in Bridgerton season 3.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is fucking weird. And then I, finished Queen Charlotte, and I was like, oh, he made that for her on her birthday. And Violet knew that he was making that for a friend. And then I like how he shows up and he's like, I'm not really here. And she's like, okay. He goes, I'm not coming inside. And then, they have a wild, passionate afternoon.
Yes, and Danbury gets her some.
Yes. But I feel like it was still so heartbreaking, though, because obviously he wasn't gonna leave his wife,
Well, it's okay, because Danbury didn't want to be married again.
No, but when she like goes to meet him again, like, he's got Violet with him, or he like leaves really quick, and then the next time she sees him, like, he's got Violet with him on his walk. And he's basically like, we can't do that again. So they kind of keep their distance.
Yeah, he wants to be. His wife is just so bitchy.
She is. But I feel like they kind of like loved each other, I guess, from afar, and nothing physical ever happens again. And then Queen Charlotte's brother comes back into town, and he starts to court Lady Danbury.
Yeah.
And of course, her servants and lady's maid is like, oh, how exciting. You'll be like German royalty and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I don't think I want
to. I think she does consider it for a bit.
She does.
Because we don't know where her son stands as the next Lord Danbury.
Yes.
So, she does have to think about securing that. But I guess her son does get to be Lord Danbury. Her son was so cute.
I know.
He's tiny little British kid.
I know. Well, like, and when she has to take him to go see the Queen, and she's like in the carriage, she's like, I know I'm basically a stranger to you. You'll be able to be with Nanny again later. And I'm like, oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, but he's just so precious, and he's in like his little formal wear. Yes, I know, it's so cute.
Yes. Well, like, afterwards, he's like, "Did I do good, mommy?"
Yes. Yeah, I know. we don't see her kids in present day Bridgerton, and she's like, they're all far away from me.
Yeah.
So, gosh, that woman, I don't think she was meant to be a mom, for one. And then just knowing that Lord Danbury was their father, she's like, bleh.
Yeah.
So she wasn't in the best position.
No, definitely not.
Well, and then they reference it in season 3, her little brother.
Yep.
Oh,
Marcus.
Marcus?
Yes,
Marcus. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's the reason that she ended up marrying Lord Danbury.
Yep.
And she always resented him for it. Which, poor kid.
I know.
I know.
He was just
That's a lot, especially because he's like, I don't know why my sister fucking hates me.
I know.
Why she's so
And he's
hostile
like,
towards me.
And like he tries so hard, and he's like, I've always looked up to you,
Yeah.
like, and I love you, like, you're my sister. And then they have it out in season 3, and he's like, I was scared for you. I thought I was saving you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and he's like, it's not my fault. Like, I was born a man, so dad treated me different,
Mm-hmm. Which is not the thing to say to your sister.
I mean, no, but it is a point. Like, it's not his fault. Like, their dad treated him, as a favorite. And that's just because that's how it was in those times. That you had a daughter, great. You have something a person you have to marry off and have a dowry for. But if you have a son, you got someone to carry on your name and all that kind of crap.
That's true.
Yeah.
But, I don't think she fully resented him until...
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Reason.
That was the nail in the coffin.
Yeah. And he's like, you're my sister. I was scared for you. Like, I'd heard how the world is out there, and I didn't want anything bad to happen to you. Mm-hmm. And she's like, ugh, fine.
I guess I'll forgive you.
And then she tells Violet, like, he's a good man.
Right. Do what you want.
He's like, I'll allow
him to plow your garden.
And Violet's like, yay! Violet could not be happier.
We better see more of them in season 4.
I just want a season of them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care about anyone else at this
right.
point. I just want to see Violet get her happy ending.
Yes.
Because she's such a good mom, and she puts up with so much, especially from her boys.
Yes.
And I just need her to be happy.
Yes.
I do love in season 3 too, where I think he asks Violet to dance. Is it the dance, or he's just talking to her and Anthony sees and he's like, he oversteps.
Yeah.
Like he's getting protective of his mom as well. It's not only his sisters.
I would like to also say, we should have mentioned this in the season 3 thing. When her and Marcus first meet, and like they're getting ready to go inside to a ball, and she like drops her glove, and he's like right there to pick it up, and they have like a little moment. I was like, oh, who is this?
Yeah, and she gets all like stupid and giggly.
Like, thank you.
She's like, oh, no. It's like, yeah, Violet, I get it. Yep. I get it. Same.
So cute. So cute.
And she's just like,
well, like, I can't imagine, like, like she did love her husband. Like, they were friends first. Mm-hmm. They had a beautiful, deep love for each other. And then, like, she hasn't been with anyone since he passed away. And then to finally, like, to have those butterflies again, like, I wouldn't know what to say either.
Yeah. Because I'm assuming that Hyacinth is, like, a young teenager, like 13, 14.
Yeah.
And she was the last one to be born. Yeah. So Violet has not had any relationships since then, which is a very long time to be alone.
Yeah, but we weren't allowed to have fun in those days as women.
Well, I mean, she was a widow.
Yeah.
So I think because she was a dowager and a widow, like she was given more liberties.
Oh, yeah. But like
in honor of Edmund, she didn't do it. And then all of a sudden she wakes up and she's like, I want the footman to lay on top of me.
Well, that and like when you have that many kids to raise, like it's way different. Like Tilly, for example. Like, Tilly can do whatever the fuck she wants. She doesn't have children that she's raising and whatnot. And that's why, she's allowed to have all her night escapades.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I hope we get more of them in season 4.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I did not see the appeal in Violet's dad, but I could see the chemistry.
Yeah. I think it was because he actually talked and listened to her. Whereas like
what
her
a wild concept.
I know, but like if you think about it, like her husband, every time she went to like say something or do something, he, like you said earlier, he was just be like, look what they gave me because of how wonderful I am. And she's like, okay, never mind. Because she was starting to say something and then he said that and she's just like, okay. So like clearly he just never paid attention to anything she had to say. Whereas Violet's dad like had conversations with her on their little walks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
gosh. Well, and then Violet and Lady Danbury, like in Queen Charlotte, do have a little rift in their friendship because Violet finds out.
yes. She sees the hat, the birthday hat.
Yeah. The birthday hat. And Violet's like, oh, he said he was making this for a friend. And then she's like, wait a second.
Or I like how Danbury had it like on the like mantle behind something and Violet sees it and then like Violet invites her over and she's got like all the birthday hats from like all the years all over her like her little room. Danbury's just like, okay, I got it.
She even asked us about this, and she asked her about her suitors and if she's like falling in love with anybody else.
Something, yeah. Like,
yeah.
Like, did you ever love anybody after your husband?
Yeah. But I think she talks about the
she talks about
Charlotte's brother.
Yeah, Charlotte's brother.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why, and I think I said this last Bridgerton episode, why I was so confused when in Bridgerton season 3, Danbury and Violet sit down and Danbury's like, listen, I'm sorry. And Violet's like, no. All I know is my dad was a good man and you're a good friend. That's all I need to know. I'm just like, huh? That's weird.
I know.
And then I watched Queen Charlotte and I was like, oh, this makes sense.
Well, and then in Queen Charlotte is where we get the whole like Violet wants her garden plowed or something.
Yes. They're at that like art gallery or something. And she's like,
and she's like, your garden. And Lady Danbury's like, what? My garden? Huh?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh.
Yeah. It
Violet
takes Danbury a minute.
So sweet. Violet's just so sweet. She's trying to use this metaphor.
Yes.
And it's like, ma'am, you had 8 children.
Yeah. Everyone knows you know how to do it. The bare minimum. The bare minimum at least.
And it was a love match. So
that
we
too.
know you know. We know you know. What? Yeah, she's like, my garden was dormant for a very long time and now it's in bloom. And Lady Danbury's like, okay, that's nice.
She's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I will say though, I think one of the more heartbreaking like moments was at the very end when I can't remember if I mentioned this before or not in the Bridgerton episode, but like where she goes to tell King George like, oh, we, our kids have secured an heir or whatever, but he's like standing up in the room and he's not recognizing her. So she crawls under the bed. Yeah. And then he crawls under the bed with her. And then he's like understanding and knows who she is and whatever, even though I think he thinks it's more. Yeah. I think he thinks it's more of like flashback then. But I was just like, oh my God.
Well, when George is having one of his first like he's not having an episode, but he's anxious.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And she goes to his room and she's like, where are you? And he's like, I'm here.
Yeah.
And he just tells her, like it's quiet under here. Yeah. And so that becomes like their place to like talk is underneath his bed. And so in present day when they're older, we learn that that's how she gets his attention and how she talks to him.
Yeah.
And he becomes lucid.
It's so sad.
And he's like, you did not go over the wall. And she's
Yes.
like, no, I didn't. And then it flashes back between like them young and them old. I was falling.
Yeah. I was too. I was
too. Yes.
I was sobbing. And of course, at this point, I think it was super late at night. Steven's like asleep in the bed next to me. And I'm just like, I keep looking over like, don't wake him up. But I'm just like, just ugly crying in bed.
I was crying so much.
Yes. Yes.
And I was like, what's wrong with me?
I feel like at one point, I can't remember if it was that point or a different point, Steven did wake up and he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah.
You're like, no, I'm not.
Fine. Go back to
she
bed.
Didn't go over the wall. Yeah. Yes, that final scene. Oh,
I've made myself tear up.
So good.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, don't tear up.
And then that brings me back to my after it ended, I was like, wait, what about Brimsley? What happened to Brimsley and Reynolds? Like, we just get Brimsley. I'm gonna die on this hill, y'all. I've mentioned it like 5 times now.
No, I know, because it was during one of their balls, right? Like we see young them, Brimsley
dancing.
And yes. Oh, another like subplot of this is Brimsley and Reynolds are seeing each other.
Yes.
And Charlotte and George have their ball. George is a success. He's been, they're able to do it together. He's able to be in public at this ball.
Yep.
And Brimsley and Reynolds are off in the bushes, like dancing together.
Yeah.
And then it fades, and Brimsley is dancing by himself as his older self. And it just breaks your heart because you don't know what happened to Reynolds.
We have no idea.
Did he die? Like,
no.
I'm gonna start crying again.
No. Don't cry.
Like, I don't think people understand how much that upset me.
Yeah.
I know. It was, and at one point, older Charlotte asks Brimsley, like, do you have a family? Because she's never really asked him, I guess. And Ashley!
I'm sorry!
And he tells the queen, I think he tells her, like, no, you are my life. Like,
yeah.
But he tells her, like, it's been like
serve you.
Yeah, it's been like an honor or something. And she's just like, oh, Ashley.
I'm sorry. They're still wet, okay? I'm drying my eyes, everybody. My vision was getting blurry, okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
The season was so sad.
It was so good. Well, and then I think, it was a good story and it gave the people what they wanted. But then also, I think people who live with mental illness, they really appreciated it because you don't really see that in media where someone with mental illness is being loved like that. And Charlotte understands, like, I think at some point Charlotte is talking to one of her sons because she's arranged a marriage for him, and she's like, you choose each other every day and you choose to love each other every day, and that's what marriage is, and that's how you succeed in marriage. And so Charlotte had to choose George every day, and I'm sure like some days it was not easy. People with mental illness were really happy that they were able to portray that. So so I don't know, lovingly and delicately, and it did show the realities of treatments back then and how horrible they were. And I mean, up until like 50 years ago, like they stopped being pretty barbaric. I watch my ghost shows. And, they go to like asylums and stuff. And it was like this asylum closed in like 1995 or some even as late as 2003. or 2017 even. And as we know, like, people were not treated well.
They were not treated like humans.
And I think only within the past few years, especially with the pandemic, like, we've really been talking about mental health and how to take care of ourselves and each other. So, whew. Yeah, gosh, I mean, luckily for Charlotte and George, like, they had the privilege of being royalty.
Yeah,
that's
true.
Others were not so lucky. So,
yeah.
Oh, and then I think at one point, didn't Violet ask Lady Danbury? She's like, "Do George and Charlotte still?"
Oh, I feel like she did.
Yeah, and she's like, "What?"
Yeah.
But then Lady Danbury tells her, like, "Yes, their garden is always in bloom." And Violet's like, "Really? Huh?" Like, yeah. Like, they had 15 children.
They had a lot of freaking kids. That's why I'm like, the whole like side story of like present day Charlotte trying to get like her kids to produce an heir, because it starts off with like her son's daughter is pregnant and dies giving birth, and like I guess she was the only one that was like pregnant with a legitimate male heir, and whatever. And then I'm like, you have 15 freaking kids and not one of them has had a legitimate son. Like,
well, yeah, the boys.
Well, yeah, but like, how did you wait this long to be like, all right, we're gonna start arranging marriages? Like, what? I feel like that should have started, unfortunately, a long time ago.
Yeah, I think maybe because just George was really at his like worst, and he was really far gone, and so she probably thought like, "Oh shit, we need to get serious about this."
Maybe, yeah.
But I had read somewhere that Charlotte's daughters never married because George thought that no one would ever be good enough for them.
So, in real lifetimes, King George, when he was reigning king, he did have a law that was like in place where he had to approve like the marriages of the family. So that makes sense.
Yeah. I think he was afraid that his daughters would be treated badly, and so he didn't want them to get married.
Unfortunately, he is probably not wrong.
Yeah.
Which is a wild thought to have as a man in that time period.
Right?
I was like, what? But I think because Charlotte was his wife, you know, she was such a strong presence. Like,
yeah.
And I love how he spoke in certainties. You know, you are beautiful. You are a rare jewel. You know, you are incomparable. Instead of, you know, you look like, you know, you just. It's like, it's fact.
Yeah. No, they did really good with the writing of the script of this one, I think.
Yes. Oh, it was so good. It
was very good.
So good.
I cracked up every time you see it in young Queen Charlotte, and then you see it in older Queen Charlotte when someone's like dead, and she's like, sorrows, prayers. And like the most, like, just like, blank face ever. Like, she's completely unfit. Like, what? Okay, someone died. Get over it. Okay.
She does that to Lady Danbury when she finds out
that's right.
He died, and she's like, sorrows, prayers. Anyway.
And then when her son's daughter is dead in present day Queen Charlotte, she's like, sorrows, prayers. Yeah. Because she like brings it up. She's like, now that we don't have an heir, and then he starts crying again. She's like, can you pull it together?
Yeah. Then she starts yelling like, sorrows.
Yes.
Prayers. Oh, like, that's so great.
It was good.
It was
good.
Well, and then her kids do, I guess, mention to her like how she hasn't really been a mother to them. And it seems like Charlotte really had to choose between being a wife or a mother. Like, she couldn't do both, and her devotion first was to George.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, that's a lot of kids.
Yes, so many kids.
It's a lot of fucking kids.
Charlotte's grandbaby ends up being Queen Victoria.
Okay.
And Queen Victoria is the one that secures the line. She is who the current monarchy is descended from.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So Charlotte secured her legacy. Her and George's legacy.
She did.
She did it.
She made it happen with 15 freaking kids. You should have been able to make it happen pretty freaking easy.
Yeah. Good for her. The woman worked.
Yeah.
Also, I've seen memes where I think it's funny that like the King George from the musical Hamilton and the King George from Bridgerton are the exact same King George.
Oh goodness.
And in Hamilton, he's like this spitting, bumbling like buffoon, and in Charlotte, he's like this swoon-worthy.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
They're the same King George. Yeah. So
yep. I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
I can't think of anything. I really loved the costuming in this one. I think one critique when Bridgerton first came out was that all the women were wearing current Regency fashions, but Charlotte was still dressing in like 1700s fashions with the corsets and the big skirts and the big hair. And they said she did that so that George could recognize her.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Why are you trying to make me cry again?
No.
Goodness.
No.
I'm going to get a headache.
No. You know, everyone's like, their styles don't make sense. Why is Queen Charlotte dressed one way and everyone else is dressed the other way? It's like, so
I never put two and two together.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
Gonna go cry myself to sleep now.
No.
Oh my God. See, okay. I will admit this is a good season. This is a good show, but I don't like feeling like this. This is why I don't like this one as much. I don't like tears. I don't like feeling sad emotions.
But you're a Cancer.
It doesn't matter. Emotions are evil.
It's okay. It's okay. Everything's fine. It worked out.
It did. Sort of. Just kind of crawl under a dirty bed to fucking talk to him, but fine.
No.
I think at one point, the first time they go under there, she's like, we're going to have to get this cleaned.
Yeah. That's like, I literally thought, I was like, oh, how dirty is it under there? Like, you got a good dress. Don't do that. How often are they cleaning under the bed?
Well, I guess because they go under there a lot. So
I guess he's keeping it clean with his night shirts.
Yeah. I had read like in real life, I guess, which was unusual for the time and for like a while, actually, they slept in the same bed for as long as they could until his illness got worse. Until they had to be separated because of his illness. But yeah, they slept together like for pretty much as long as they could. And I don't want to say any more sad things, so I'll stop.
It's fine. You can.
Well, Charlotte didn't get to see her grandchild being born. She didn't get to see Victoria being born.
Oh,
she
really?
died. Yeah, she died before it could happen.
Damn.
And then George died 2 years later. But I don't think George knew that Charlotte died.
Oh, probably not.
Yeah, that's what I heard. That they didn't think he could handle it, so they didn't tell him that like Charlotte had died. Just crazy.
That doesn't surprise me. I'm surprised he outlived her.
Yeah.
Yeah. The body does mysterious things.
It does. It definitely does. That is for sure. I mean, just the brief stuff that I like read about real life George and Charlotte, it did seem like they had like a really good, like legitimate kind of love story. Even if it was an arranged marriage.
I couldn't imagine popping out 15 kids, let alone one, but
No.
15?
Yeah. No.
Get off her.
Especially back then, like.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what we can talk about. The last thing. This could be the last thing. When Charlotte's giving birth to their first baby.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah.
That was good. I like how, you know, Danbury pops out and she's like, she wants you. And he's like, okay. And he goes to walk. And then the fucking bishop or whatever is like, you can't go in there. And he's like, I'm sorry. Do you want to stay bishop of the church or whatever? Like, get the fuck out of my way.
Would you like to stay Bishop of Canterbury?
Yeah. Like, I'm the king. You're not going to tell me I can't go into a room.
Yeah.
Yeah, because isn't he called there because Charlotte's struggling a bit?
I think so, yes. I think,
and so
wasn't the baby breech or
I
something?
think so.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
And George has delivered breached animal babies.
Yes.
So he knows what to do.
Yes. But yeah, he gets called there and they're all just like all those men and people just standing outside the room. I'm like, oh God. Like, and then he goes to walk in.
And I think he's like, I know what to do. And they're like, that's not done. And he's like, well, we're going to do it.
Yeah, we're going to try it. Like,
yeah. And, you know, he's telling Charlotte, like, you're wonderful. You got this.
Yes.
You can do it. You are a goddess. And
No. Yeah.
And yeah, because Lady Danbury's like, she wants you. And he's like, and she's like, my king.
Yeah. Let's go.
Yes. I love when George is like, George.
Yeah.
And he's like, the king.
Yes.
Look, I mean, I think because he has this mental illness, like he's the king, but in name only. Like they don't really afford him any ruling power. And so, when Charlotte is birthing, like we actually get to see him like assert himself as king. Yes. Which I think is a great part for him.
Yeah, because then, so after that, the ball that they have is in celebration of them, like having the baby or whatever. And then that's when she tells him, like, she's pregnant with another. And
I think he also had to make an appearance as well.
Yeah,
right?
It was good for him to make an appearance to show that he was okay, since he didn't make it to the Parliament speech.
Yeah, and he's about to freak out again, and she's like, George, just look at me.
Yeah.
Look at me. No one else.
Right here. We're going to walk over to the step and we're going to wave.
Yeah. And she's like, we're just going to start dancing.
Yeah.
You know? Follow me.
Yeah.
Everything's great. Everything's fine. Props to Charlotte. Like that is not easy, but she did it.
Yep.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know how she was in real life. Like,
I don't either.
She was part of like colonialism. But Bridgerton Charlotte, like
yes. And just
like,
the actress that played her was so good. And same with the actor that played George. They did such a good job with this season. Yeah. Even, I mean, they did a great job with all of it. Like, young Lady Danbury was fantastic also. I thought young Violet was like a little awkward at times, but she was also still very much a child. So, or an early teenager. Because like she wanted to go to the ball and her mom's like, no, she hasn't been like out in society yet. She can't do that. And the dad's like, sure, she can. Like, it'll be fine.
Well, as we've learned when she met Marcus, she can be very awkward.
This is true. This is true. She is very much a product of her time.
She's just like, you just get like, what? And then, you see it later on her face, like, damn it.
Yeah.
That was dumb. But luckily, Marcus just thinks it's the cutest thing.
Yeah.
Overall, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
5 out of 5 stars.
Yep.
Yes.
These are great shows. I mean, I plan on reading the books at some point, but they're not a high priority. I think I think even the author is like, you know, been very supportive of all the changes and things that they've done for the show. So I like it. It's probably the one few things in this world where I'll say the show is probably better than the book.
Well, Queen Charlotte was not
I know,
a book
yeah.
at first.
Yeah.
It came out when the series came out.
The series came out, yeah. But I think overall, like Bridgerton as a whole, I feel like this show is probably better than the books. Of course, that's without having read them, but what I've heard.
I mean, I've read a few.
Yeah, you count. You count.
Yeah.
All right. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I can remember. Oh, it was a little sad seeing Queen Charlotte's brother, you know, get his heart broken by Danbury. Well, I just like how he's like, well, just think about it. You don't know what you're saying right now. And she's like, no, I don't want to be married again. Like, I'm sorry. And he's like, are you sure?
Well, he was going to impose all these patriarchal things on her, patriarchal systems of marriage, and she's just not about that life.
Yeah, nope. She's like, I already been there, done that. Thanks.
Yeah.
And he wanted more kids.
He did want more kids.
Hell no.
Yeah.
Hell no.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
He's like, I'm out. So good for Lady Danbury living her best life.
Nope. Agreed. Yes. Agreed.
I just want like a one-off with Lady Danbury and her living her best life, taking all these lovers, going on all these trips, doing those smoking and drinking card table clubs with the other married ladies.
Oh, yeah.
Lady Danbury, a Bridgerton story.
Yes. Yes.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
All right. I think I'm officially done with remembering things. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Unless y'all want to do a what this week, I'm just going to close this out.
Do I have a what this week? I need another book to read. I think I've gotten slumpy again.
Uh-oh.
I need some other book to read.
I don't know how to help you because I'm reading the book that you read.
I know.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
Oh, did you want to read Roiled by the Krampus?
Oh, yeah. I was going to read that. I was going to do that.
That one will be
do our
30.
Our Christmas in July.
Yeah.
If you don't want to read it, Liana, we can do another presentation, a smutty special presentation.
I want to be surprised.
Okay. Elaine and I will read it. Well, Elaine, you said you finished rereading it, right?
Yeah, I finished rereading it.
I'll read it by next time. So we'll have a Christmas in July with Railed by the Krampus. I think once we're all three, well, you already read it, Liana, but I'm reading Not Another Vampire Book, and Elaine's gonna start it. So when we're all three done with that, we could do an episode on that one. So.
Yes, this is Not Another Vampire Book by Cassandra Gannon.
Yes.
And it's so good.
Don't know when that episode will come out, but that could be a future episode.
So good.
And then, of course, I downloaded Releasing Maledek. Yeah, I downloaded Releasing Maledek so I can finish that. So then we can do a Feiho and Maledek episode. And then I'll work on Maxu and Sick Band. So we can do that one.
Sick Band. I need y'all to hurry up and get to that.
I know. It's a work in progress. I'm getting there. Okay. As always, thank you, listener, for joining us. Please rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. Follow us on our socials. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Goodreads, StoryGraph. Send us questions, book recommendations to booktalkbabespod@gmail.com, or you can DM us on any of the socials. Everything's listed in the description. Have a lovely day and week. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.